Hello and welcome to this series on Atomic Habits for Fitness, how tiny changes transform your body. I'm truly honored that you've chosen to spend your valuable time here. Today, we begin a journey that could change how you think about fitness forever. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the pressure of extreme workouts, strict diets, or chasing unrealistic body goals, this series is for you. Because the secret to lasting change, as James Clear teaches us in Atomic Habits, isn't about grand gestures. It's about small, consistent actions that compound over time. Let's start with a hard truth. Most people approach fitness in a way that almost guarantees failure. Think about the typical New Year's resolution. You decide to hit the gym 5 days a week, cut out all sugar, and run 10 miles on weekends. The first week, you're motivated. The second week, life gets in the way. By week 3, you're exhausted or injured. By week 4, you've given up entirely. Does that sound familiar? You're not alone. The problem isn't you. It's the approach. Extreme goals burn you out. They rely on willpower, and willpower is finite. Here's where tiny habits change everything. James Clear puts it this way: success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. Imagine doing just one push-up every morning, or walking for 2 minutes after lunch. These actions seem insignificant, right? But when they become automatic, they lay the foundation for massive transformation. Because fitness isn't about what you do in a single workout. It's about what you repeat daily. Tiny habits remove the need for motivation. They reduce the risk of burnout, and they fit naturally into your life. Think of small fitness habits, like saving money in a high-interest account. You might not notice the difference today or tomorrow, but give it time, and the results will astonish you. A daily 10-minute walk becomes stronger lungs. A daily 30-second plank becomes a stronger core. Every rep, every step, every small choice is a vote for the stronger, healthier version of yourself. Research in behavioral psychology shows that our brains resist big changes, but embrace small ones. Big changes trigger fear, stress, and decision fatigue. Small changes? They slide under the radar of our inner resistance. The 2-minute rule suggests starting with a habit so easy, it feels silly not to do it, like putting on your gym shoes or doing one squat. Once you start, momentum carries you forward. Let's meet two imaginary people, Alex and Sam. Alex tries the all-or-nothing approach. 2-hour gym sessions, strict diets. He burns out in 3 weeks. Sam starts small, a 5-minute walk after dinner. After 2 weeks, it feels natural, so Sam adds 5 push-ups. A month later, Sam joins a beginner fitness class. 6 months later, Sam's tiny habits have transformed into a lifestyle. Alex? He's waiting for next January to start again. I want you to reflect for a moment. What is one micro-action you can commit to today? 1 push-up before breakfast, 1 minute of stretching before bed, 10 bodyweight squats during a work break. The key isn't intensity, it's consistency. Write it down, set a reminder, and tomorrow, do it. No exceptions. In the next part of this series, we'll dive deeper into how to design your first tiny fitness habit, not just in theory, but in a way that works with your brain, your schedule, and your life. Because starting small isn't just smart, it's science-backed. If you found this introduction valuable, stay tuned for part 2, where we'll break down the science of starting small and building fitness habits that stick. Atomic Habits for Fitness: how tiny changes transform your body. In the previous part, we explored why tiny habits are more powerful than extreme workouts, and why focusing on consistency beats chasing motivation. Today, we're going to go deeper. We'll talk about how to design your very first tiny fitness habit, one that's so small, so simple, and so effective that it becomes part of your life without resistance. Let's begin. There's a reason why starting small works. It's not just common sense. It's backed by behavioral science. When we set ambitious fitness goals, like running 5 miles every morning or lifting heavy weights every day, our brains sense a threat. That's because big changes demand a lot of willpower and energy. And as studies have shown, willpower is like a muscle. It gets fatigued the more we use it. But small changes, on the other hand, slip past our internal alarm system. They feel safe. They feel doable. And because they're easy, we're far more likely to repeat them. This is where the 2-minute rule comes in. Coined by James Clear, the 2-minute rule states, when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. The goal isn't to get fit in 2 minutes. The goal is to make showing up so easy that you can't say no. Think of it like this: putting on your running shoes, rolling out your yoga mat, doing a single squat. These actions are small enough that your brain won't resist. And once you start, momentum often pushes you further. Let's look at an example. Imagine you want to build a habit of daily stretching. Instead of committing to a 30-minute routine, start with one stretch for 30 seconds. That's it. Do it at the same time every day, perhaps right after brushing your teeth. What happens? After a few days, it feels automatic. After a week, you might add a second stretch. A month later, you're doing 5 minutes of stretching daily, effortlessly. You didn't force yourself. You didn't rely on motivation. You simply let the habit grow naturally. This approach taps into the power of what psychologists call the cue routine reward loop. Every habit has a trigger, or cue, that reminds you to start. The routine is the action itself. The reward is the positive feeling that reinforces the habit. For your tiny fitness habit, choose a cue that's already part of your day. Brushing your teeth, making coffee, finishing work. Then, perform your micro action immediately after. The key is to keep the action small enough that it feels almost too easy. This ensures you won't skip it. Environment design is also critical at this stage. If you want to build a stretching habit, leave your mat where you can see it. If you want to do push-ups, place a reminder note on your desk. Make the desired behavior obvious. And just as importantly, make unwanted behaviors invisible. If you're tempted to skip your walk and scroll your phone instead, put the phone in another room during your habit time. Small tweaks in your environment can have a huge impact on your consistency. Tracking your tiny fitness habit is another powerful strategy. Each time you complete your micro action, mark it on a calendar or in a habit tracker app. Seeing a chain of successful days builds what psychologists call commitment bias. We want to stay consistent with what we've already done. Even if it's just one squat a day, that chain of success builds identity. You start seeing yourself as someone who shows up for their fitness goals. Let's pause and reflect. What is the first tiny fitness habit you can commit to, starting today? Maybe it's doing one push-up after your morning coffee. Maybe it's walking for 1 minute after lunch. Maybe it's holding a plank for 10 seconds before bed. Whatever it is, write it down right now. Set an alert or a note as a reminder. And tomorrow, just do it. Remember, success isn't about intensity. It's about showing up every day. Before we end this part, let's revisit the key points. First, start small. So small that it feels almost too easy. Second, pair your habit with a reliable cue that already exists in your routine. Third, design your environment to support your success. And fourth, track your progress to build positive momentum. Tiny habits might seem trivial, but they're the seeds from which lasting change grows. In the next part of our series, We'll explore how to stack your tiny fitness habits into your daily routine so that they become part of your identity and you never have to rely on motivation again. We'll look at practical examples, step-by-step instructions, and ways to adapt stacking to your unique lifestyle. Thank you for listening to part 2 of this series. I hope it's given you the clarity and confidence to take that first small step. Remember, greatness begins with showing up. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll build on this foundation and help you weave fitness into the fabric of your day. Atomic habits for fitness. How tiny changes transform your body. In our last session, we explored the science behind starting small and how micro actions can bypass resistance, making fitness habits easier to build. Today, we're going to take that foundation and show you how to stack your fitness habits into your daily routine so that they become automatic and effortless. What exactly is habit stacking? Habit stacking is the practice of linking a new habit to an existing one. The concept is simple but powerful. Instead of trying to create time for a brand new behavior, you attach it to something you already do consistently. For example, after brushing your teeth, you might do 10 squats. After making your morning coffee, you might stretch for 1 minute. The existing habit serves as a cue, a trigger, that reminds you to perform the new action. Over time, the pair becomes inseparable. Why does this work so well? Because our brains are wired for patterns. We move through our daily routines largely on autopilot, guided by cues in our environment. When we deliberately tie a new fitness habit to a solid anchor, like brushing your teeth or locking your front door, we make use of these natural patterns rather than fighting against them. The result? The new habit takes root with far less effort. Let's break this down into practical steps you can apply immediately. Step 1. Identify your anchor habits. These are actions you already perform reliably each day. Some common examples include brushing your teeth, making coffee, putting on shoes, turning on your computer at work, or sitting down to dinner. Write down a list of these actions. The more specific, the better. Step 2. Choose your tiny fitness habit. Remember, it should be small enough that it feels effortless. If your anchor habit is making morning coffee, your tiny habit might be doing 1 push-up while the coffee brews. If your anchor is brushing your teeth, your tiny habit could be doing 10 jumping jacks right after. The key is to define the connection clearly. After I anchor habit, I will new habit. Step 3. Test and adjust. Try your habit stack for a few days. If it feels forced or if you forget, don't worry. This is normal. You might need to change the anchor or adjust the action. For example, maybe stretching after coffee works better than push-ups because you're more relaxed at that time. The goal is to find pairings that feel natural. When done right, your habit stack will slide seamlessly into your day. Let's look at some real-life examples of habit stacking for fitness. Imagine a person named Sarah who wants to build core strength. She decides to add a 30-second plank after brushing her teeth in the morning. The teeth brushing is her anchor. The plank is her tiny habit. Because she brushes her teeth every morning without fail, the plank soon feels like the obvious next step. Or take Michael, who wants to move more during his workday. He stacks 5 desk push-ups after sending his first email each morning. The email serves as his cue. The push-ups take less than a minute, but reinforce his identity as someone who prioritizes movement. Environment still plays a vital role. When you're stacking fitness habits, make sure your surroundings support your actions. If your new habit is post-coffee stretches, leave your mat or resistance band near your coffee maker. If you plan to do lunges after getting home from work, place a sticky note on your front door as a reminder. The easier you make it to perform the habit, the less likely you are to skip it. Tracking your progress can help habit stacks stick. Each day you complete the stack, Mark it on a calendar or in an app. Seeing your consistency reinforces your commitment and makes you less likely to break the chain. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about showing up more often than not. Another advantage of habit stacking is scalability. Once a habit is secure, you can expand it. That one push-up becomes 5. The 30-second plank becomes a minute. The 5-minute walk becomes 10. Growth happens naturally because you've built the behavior into your identity. You're not forcing yourself. You're simply doing what comes next in your sequence. One caution: stack only one new habit at a time. It's tempting to create multiple stacks at once, but this often backfires. Focus on building one strong link, then move on to the next. Slow, steady layering creates a foundation that lasts. Before we wrap up this session, let's reflect on the key takeaways. Habit stacking is about linking a new fitness habit to something you already do. It works because it leverages existing routines, making change feel natural rather than forced. To succeed, start small, choose reliable anchors, design your environment, and track your progress. Over time, these small links form powerful chains that support your health and well-being. In the next part of this series, we'll tackle one of the biggest challenges in building fitness habits: staying consistent when motivation fades. We'll explore why relying on willpower is a losing game and how to build systems that keep you moving forward, even on hard days. One of the greatest challenges in building fitness habits is staying consistent when motivation fades. The truth is, motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes, depending on your mood, your energy level, and countless factors outside your control. That's why relying on motivation alone is a recipe for failure. Instead, the key to lasting fitness habits is to build systems that make showing up automatic, even on the days when you don't feel like it. Let's begin by understanding why motivation fails us. Motivation is often tied to emotion. When you feel inspired or excited, motivation is high. You're eager to go to the gym or take that walk. But as soon as stress hits, or fatigue sets in, or life throws a curveball, that motivation evaporates. The result? You skip the workout, and skipping once makes it easier to skip again. This is how well-intentioned fitness plans fall apart. The solution is to design systems that work regardless of how motivated you feel. A system is a set of small, repeatable actions and structures that guide your behavior. When you have a system, you don't have to decide whether or not to exercise. You simply follow the plan. For example, laying out your workout clothes the night before removes a barrier in the morning. Scheduling a 5-minute walk right after lunch makes movement part of your daily rhythm, no matter how busy you are. Another powerful system is using implementation intentions. This means creating a clear plan in advance. If X happens, then I will do Y. For example, if it rains and I can't walk outside, I will do 5 minutes of stretching indoors. Or, if I feel too tired for a full workout, I will at least do 2 squats. This kind of planning prepares you for obstacles and prevents small disruptions from derailing your progress. Accountability is another tool to keep you consistent. When you make your habit public, even if it's just sharing your goal with a friend, you add a layer of commitment. You're no longer just showing up for yourself. You're showing up because someone else knows what you said you'd do. This external accountability can provide just enough push to keep you going when internal motivation wanes. Let's talk about identity reinforcement. Every small action you take is a vote for the kind of person you want to be. When you complete even the tiniest fitness habit, you reinforce the identity of, I am someone who prioritizes my health. The more votes you cast for this identity, the stronger it becomes. Over time, staying consistent is no longer about motivation. It's simply what you do because it's who you are. It's also important to anticipate and normalize setbacks. Everyone misses a day now and then. The key is not to let one missed day become a missed week. James Clear offers a simple rule: never miss twice. If you slip up today, make sure you show up tomorrow. This mindset keeps small lapses from turning into major setbacks. Designing your environment continues to play a role in overcoming obstacles. Make healthy choices the default. Keep your exercise mat in sight. Store your walking shoes near the door. Remove friction wherever you can. The easier it is to do the right thing, the more likely you are to stay consistent. And conversely, make unwanted behaviors less convenient. If scrolling on your phone keeps you from exercising, put your phone in another room during your habit time. Another way to stay consistent is to focus on process, not outcome. Instead of obsessing over results like weight loss or muscle gain, commit to the process. Did I show up today? Did I do my small action? When you focus on the process, you win every day you act, no matter how small the action is. This builds a powerful sense of momentum and satisfaction. Consider creating a visual reminder of your progress. A calendar where you mark each day you complete your habit can be incredibly motivating. Watching the chain of success grow makes you less willing to break it. This taps into our natural desire for completion and consistency. Finally, practice self-compassion. There will be hard days. There will be days when your tiny habit feels harder than usual. That's okay. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is persistence. If you can keep showing up, even imperfectly, you will continue to move forward. Remember, tiny steps in the right direction still count. Building fitness habits that last isn't about having superhuman motivation. It's about designing systems, preparing for obstacles, and creating an environment where the right choice is the easy choice. By focusing on small, repeatable actions and staying flexible in the face of challenges, you can maintain consistency no matter what life throws your way. Long-term transformation doesn't happen through bursts of effort. It happens through small, consistent actions that compound over time. Just as tiny deposits into a savings account can grow into significant wealth, tiny fitness habits can accumulate into powerful physical and mental change. The key is patience, persistence, and trust in the process. When people first start building fitness habits, they often underestimate the power of compounding. They want immediate results: visible muscles, weight loss, improved endurance. But true transformation rarely shows up in the first few weeks. In fact, during the early stages, it may feel like nothing is changing. This is what James Clear refers to as the plateau of latent potential. It's the period where your efforts are building momentum below the surface. And then one day, the results break through, seemingly all at once. Imagine someone who commits to a daily 5-minute walk. At first, it feels almost pointless, but after a few weeks, walking feels easier. After a few months, their endurance improves. Their energy levels rise. Their mood stabilizes. The change didn't happen overnight. It was the result of tiny wins adding up, day after day. These tiny wins do more than improve your fitness. They reshape your identity. Each time you show up, no matter how small the action, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Over time, you no longer have to force yourself to act. You act because it aligns with who you are. The habit becomes part of your identity. Let's explore how to keep this momentum going for the long term. First, keep your habits small and scalable. It's tempting to increase intensity too quickly once you start seeing progress. But this can lead to burnout or injury. Instead, focus on gradual growth. That daily plank can go from 30 seconds to a minute over several weeks. That short walk can naturally extend as your stamina builds. Growth will come. Let it happen at a sustainable pace. Second, continue to refine your environment. Your surroundings shape your choices. Make sure your environment evolves with your habits. If you've grown from walking 5 minutes to 15, maybe it's time to explore new routes or trails to keep it engaging. If you've outgrown simple bodyweight exercises, set up a small home gym space. Let your space reflect your growth. Third, review your systems regularly. What worked for you at the beginning may need adjustment as you progress. Maybe the anchor that triggered your habit, like brushing your teeth, needs to shift to a different time of day because of a new schedule. Flexibility ensures that your habits stay integrated into your life as it changes. Fourth, celebrate small milestones. Long-term success is built on recognizing progress. When you hit a streak of 30 days, acknowledge it. When you increase your plank time or add an extra block to your walk, take a moment to appreciate how far you've come. These small celebrations reinforce your commitment and make the journey enjoyable. Fifth, remember the bigger picture. Tiny habits aren't just about fitness. They're about building a life of integrity where your daily actions align with your values and goals. Every small fitness win contributes to your overall well-being, physically, mentally, and emotionally. You become the kind of person who takes care of yourself, who keeps promises to yourself, and who grows stronger through small, deliberate choices. Finally, embrace the mindset of continuous improvement. There is no finish line. Fitness is not a destination, it's a lifelong journey. The beauty of tiny habits is that they evolve with you. What starts as a single push-up can one day lead to running marathons or mastering advanced yoga poses. But it all begins and continues with showing up for those tiny wins. And so, as we bring this series to a close, I want to leave you with this message. Lasting fitness transformation isn't about grand gestures or heroic effort. It's about tiny, consistent actions that compound over time. It's about designing systems that support you, creating environments that make the right choice easy, and building habits that reflect the person you want to become. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Atomic Habits for Fitness. I hope these insights have inspired you to take small, meaningful steps toward your health goals. Remember, greatness doesn't come from what you do once in a while. It comes from what you do every day. Keep showing up. Keep casting those small votes for the person you want to be. And most importantly, enjoy the process. I appreciate your time and attention throughout this series. Wishing you strength, consistency, and success on your fitness journey. Until next time, take care.